All right, we are live. We are with Jeff Davis, a Hollywood actor, which I was just fortunate to be able to meet one time, and we got to talking and uh, became friendly. So, and I'm very grateful that we kind of hooked up and got to talking. And uh, gosh, it's been what almost 8 years now that we probably met each other at least.
Yeah, that was a while ago. Yeah, that was quite a while ago.
Yeah, I think it was at a toy show, and I think it was like Toledo, Canton area,
Yeah,
and you and Dirk Ashton were there,
my old buddy Dirk. That's right. Yeah, yeah.
and that was how did they ever like reach to you to even do that?
Well, I don't know actually. The guy who was running it, it was horror themed, and he reached out due to my being and working with Wes Craven in the Nightmare 7, Wes Craven's New Nightmare, and he reached out and that's he asked me if I'd be interested in flying to Ohio and doing a little signing. And I called up. He actually needed people. I actually contacted Dirk, who's an old friend of mine, and Dirk had been in was it Walking?
N-
No,
Yeah,
Living
Night of the
Dead.
Living Dead, I think was yeah.
Yeah, and so I called, and plus he had he at the time he was writing and stuff. He had some books out, so I got Dirk involved, and yeah, we came out there and we had fun. Yeah, met a lot of good people.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, because you, if I remember correctly, you had this really cool. I think it was like a staff jacket that you were like auctioning off or something that came with that.
Uh, Actually, it was a sweatshirt that was made to look like the sweater,
Okay.
and I mean, I do have a cool jacket. We did, yeah, I did have the jacket there, but no, we didn't end up. I didn't end up getting rid of it. I still have it.
Okay.
Yeah, that was actually the crew jacket from Nightmare 7. It's embroidered on the back. There was only probably, I don't know, 40, 50 of them made. I don't know if, if anyone kept them like I did, but mine's never even been worn really.
Yeah.
Um, but also I had a sweatshirt. There was a scene where a bunch of Freddy's uh, uh, come up to the freeway to a fence in Nightmare 7
Oh, yeah.
when Heather was running, and so they put a bunch of us crew guys in those sweatshirts, and we kept them, and so I actually did auction that off at the event.
So when it comes to the Nightmare 7, of course you had the first bit at the very beginning of the movie as the acting Freddy who was chopping his hand off with the mechanical hand.
Right.
Now you did, if I was reading correctly, you did some stand-ins for Robert as well in
Yeah,
the movie.
well, actually, that's how. I mean, I had just got to LA. I was fresh out of Maine. That was my first actual contract in a feature film. I had done some other stand-in work and stuff, but I was working with Wes as standing in and photo doubling Robert Englund. And the funny thing is I had never seen a Nightmare on Elm Street movie, so I really knew nothing about. So I had to watch Robert as he walked and he sauntered, and then I started watching Wes, and they had a very similar saunter to them, the way they kind of, and so I got so that Wes would look at me and say, "Hey Jeff, I had the claw and the whole outfit on, and I was doing the claw down and across the manhole covers and doing all that stuff." And Wes would say, "Okay, Jeff, give me that give me that Freddy feel." And I was just watching and learning as I went. But Wes liked me enough so that he had this little part in the script called The Creator, and that was the opening scene. And Wes actually offered me the role, so he kind of gave me the role from that. But
That's awesome. Yeah, that's the picture I have for the that you signed for me. That's too cool.
yeah, what's funny is what kind of bummed me out on that is because that was my first like contracted role. When they wrote it up in the credits, they put Freddy Hand Double when it actually had a name in the script. It was called The Creator. So now I'm just noted out there as Freddy Hand Double. But anyway,
That's
got to start
crazy.
somewhere.
Well, at least you get. I can't help it. That's just too cool to be able to think that being in one of the Nightmare series because I've watched them all, loved them, and it's.
I mean,
Did you ever watch the remake that they did?
no, but I
No.
did spend. I'm not a big I'm not a big horror fan. be honest with you, but I did spend. It was great spending time with Robert and with Wes Craven, and Robert was great. You know, picking his brain about different things, and he talked about how he had talked to the youngsters on the first one about investing in, you know, property and that type of thing, and trying to, you know, so and you know, he's a very interesting guy. And then Wes was great. I really enjoyed working with him. So yeah.
Yeah, from people I've known that like done the meet and greets with Robert, I heard he's like a really nice general guy. So I mean,
Very intelligent.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think he was classically trained, wasn't he? If I remember correctly.
I think so, yeah, which is funny how he ended up becoming this horror icon. But yeah, yeah,
That's method acting at its best, I guess, right?
right, yeah, yeah.
Well, I mean, besides for that, and people who are watching here, so they know some of the stuff that you've done here. I mean, you've had roles in Wind Talker with Nicolas Cage,
Yeah.
and you of course were in Outrage, which is one of the newer ones you had, and we had the Demons Within, which was actually filmed in Ohio, right in here, great state
It
of Ohio.
was, and I tell you, that started at that meet and greet that I met you at. Uh, we had a meet and greet the night before, where I went to this comic book store, and I know a few people came in and talked, and one of them mentioned that would I ever come to Ohio to do a movie, and that got the seed go. I had this Roberta Griffin, the writer, had sent me this script recently before that, and I said, well, you know, I'm not, like I said, I originally wasn't into horror, but when they said, would you come here, and they were into horror, I said, you know, I've got this script that lend itself to a low budget horror, and we started milling it around, and it took 8 years, 7, well, I guess 6 now, right? 6 years.
Yeah.
Oh, 6 years, and we got it off the ground. We came to Ohio. I mean, it wasn't the greatest film when we got finished with it. We didn't have a lot of money, but we did shoot it, and it is out there on Tubi and Amazon and such. So, you know, it is what it is, and we did our best with what we had.
Hey, and guess what? I helped with the movie too.
There you go. And it was all, most of it was, with the exception of some of the actors. I mean, I brought in Vincent Ward from The Walking Dead. I don't know if you know Vincent, and I brought in a couple other actors, but for the most part, the crew and the actors were all local actors from the Ohio area. So it was nice, and that was what our plan was right from the beginning, to come there and do a kind of a, you know, small Hollywood movie, but, you know, local.
Yeah, yeah, I got to slam a door.
Cool. Good.
Yeah, hey, at least I could say I did that. I didn't get any, even though they said I was supposed to get credited in the movie, but I didn't. But it is what it is. That's
Sorry about that.
but
Yeah, I didn't have it. I left that in the hands of the, you know, I originally direct it, and then one thing led to the other, and I was in the process of moving when we did it. So I found a local, the girl who I'd been working with, Stephanie Hensley, all along. She was originally going to be like my first AD, and I was going to direct, but since I got too busy, I asked her to direct the film, and Cody Hessling helped. He helped produce it, and the three of us had met at that original meeting, and we were there right to the end. So that was nice.
yeah, it was fun to be there. You know, it just a very interesting, because you think about what movies are going to be like and everything like that, and then when you're actually sitting there watch the magic happen in front of you, it's very interesting. It was an eye opener for me. It was very fun.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, besides for the whole movie thing, you actually do some television too, where you've been on The West Wing and Grey's Anatomy, Criminal Minds, and one I is also on Tubi that I just picked up was a girl named Joe. I started binge watching that.
That's a fun. Yeah, I did. We did 3 seasons, what they called seasons on there. It was actually originally, it was a little YouTube show, but this company called Brat, they do a bunch of kid stuff. What they do is they use a lot of Instagram famous kids,
Yeah,
and put them in TV shows. And yeah, I ended up getting cast as the father of the lead, Joe, and we had fun with that. There was a good bunch of kids and the adults on it, and we did. Yeah, we did. Geez, I don't know. I think I did like 18 episodes. I think we did 3 seasons of, I don't know, must have been 8 or 10 episodes a season.
Yeah, I think I just started like the second one, but yeah, it's a very interesting. I've been having fun with it. I mean, I didn't know what I was getting into, but you know, it's grown on me. So
It was it was aimed at the tween girls is basically what it was aimed at. So, and then I mean before that years ago I did I don't know if you're familiar with the Power Rangers, but we did the creators of the Power Rangers originally did what they called Kamen Rider
uh,
in Japan, and they came over here years after Power Rangers was here. We did a season of it's called Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, and I played the dad of the lead character in that as well. And we just did one season, but Mark Dacascos was in it, and a couple other actors, and but a bunch of young, good-looking young guys and girls that played the heroes. They were on motorcycles, and that was a fun little show as well.
that's cool. Now, if anybody's out there in the chat and wants to ask Jeff a question, you know, about anything he's done in his career, from movie wise or anything about acting, don't hesitate to put it in the comments there because you know that's what he's here for. Is this something general? We're just sitting here chatting back and forth about what he's done in his career and everything.
In
And
recent years, I've been on some stuff that the 13 Reasons Why and Good Trouble and what's the SWAT. You know, it's been some good TV shows.
There was one question I wanted to ask you. I don't know if it's a trade secret thing and you can't tell me or anything, but
Right.
I think it was emergency or the station house or where.
19.
Yeah, and you were like the dad who was talking to the daughter.
That's actually a spinoff from Grey's Anatomy, I believe.
Okay. But you were like a dad who was trying to connect back with his daughter after being gone for a while. And I don't want to give any spoilers if anybody wants to watch the episode. But at the very end there, where what happens to your character, did you have a stand-in for that finish shot, or was that CGI'd? Or
I did have a stunt double, but they who was thrown into a van.
Okay. Because I knew you liked to do some of your stuff, so I just didn't know how hardcore you were.
I did. I mean, that one and Lethal Weapon as well. I did Lethal Weapon. I jump off a thing and run across in front of this dump truck, trash truck, and I did have a stunt double. But in both of those, they used almost all me. But they did there. If you could slow it down enough, you'll see there's a quick shot of my stunt double in Station 19. Oh no. Yeah, Station 19, right? Yeah. Lethal Weapon, I think I think they ended up not even using the stunt double stuff. I think most of it, I think it ended up all being me because I do as much as I can.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Does it ever worry you at all? I mean, because if you get hurt, that could also hurt your.
Yeah, but most everything they're doing is very safe. I mean, there's not much that they're doing out there stunt wise. There are exceptions. There are crews out there, but for most crews, they're so overprotective of the actors and the props and the stunts that they're doing that you shouldn't. No one should ever really get hurt. I mean, it happens, but you shouldn't.
Yeah. Now, okay, when we were at the toy show, I think if I remember correctly, you had a comic book that was going along with like a movie that you've been wanting to produce for a while. Was that the I can't remember his name now. It's
called Restitution: The Legend of Cordell Pierce.
Yes.
And still have never got it off the ground, but I'm working on a prequel to it. It's called Cordell Pierce Bounty Hunter, and it tells how he meets the woman and all the characters in the comic book. It tells how he met them and how he comes to the situation he's in.
Indiana Chris is saying hello to everybody that's out watching.
Hi there.
So when I'm sitting here, I'm watching you doing the all your videos that you've done past with your Western stuff and your costumes and everything. When you're doing Western, you almost feel Western's your thing. I don't. Just for me, it just feels like Western's your go-to. You love it. It just seems to me. Is that am I accurate in that?
Yeah, it is. I wish I had more opportunities to do westerns. I've only had a very limited opportunity to do westerns, but that's why when I decided to do something for myself, it's always been western. I did do a movie that still hasn't been released yet called Showdown on the Brazos.
I did see that poster. That sounds like a really good one.
It's. I mean, I haven't seen any of it yet. It's been a few years in the making. I play. I don't know if you ever saw Pale Rider with Clint Eastwood.
It's been a while.
Yeah, he's a preacher in that, and that's my character. I'm a preacher with a gun, basically, in this Showdown in the Brazos, and I've got the top hat and the collar, and it's a great character, trench coat. I had fun with it, and I'm anxious for people to see. I'm anxious to see it. I haven't even seen any of my scenes in it yet, but I did talk. I was doing another interview, and the guy had just interviewed the director, and he told me that that my scenes looked really good, and they kind of stood out. So I'm kind of anxious to see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, westerns. I've had the opportunity to be in. I'm attached to a couple of westerns that are in the works right now. But the funny thing is in Hollywood, you kind of get seen for certain things, and the casting director who does Westworld, and also does Yellowstone. It's the same casting director, and he would bring me in from time to time for those two shows, never as a Western type character. He would bring me in for the clean cut school administrator, priest. I was kind of bummed because I never got the opportunity to do either of those shows, and I just wasn't being called in for the right things. But he that same casting director, now this is going to get you with just I was up for and was in the running for and right down to the wire for his the new Superman movie. I was
the one that's coming out now, or
coming out now. Yeah, I was down between me and a couple other guys to play Pa Kent, and but they had wanted a heavy set Pa Kent who was kind of not the brightest acting, real strong accent and hickish, and I pulled everything off. But they ended up going with they didn't want a name actor originally, but they ended up going with Taylor Pruitt Vance, who's actually a pretty big name, I think. But I don't know if you when you see him, you'll recognize him from many other big movies. So,
okay.
but it was what's that?
Yeah, it's pretty bad when it comes to it's pretty bad because when it comes to movies, I know the characters and
Right.
the faces more than I know the names, which I know is probably very
No,
ignorant of me at times. But
this actor is that type. He's a character actor, so you would know his face before you would know his name. I didn't know when I first heard who it was. I had to look it up myself. But when I saw him, I'm like, oh yes, and he makes sense for what they wanted. He was perfect, but I don't think it's. I was more along the lines of the Kevin Costner Pa Kent, and I think I would have been a good one, but.
hey, well, we got our first question here from Indiana. Chris is like, Jeff, did you like the movie Open Range?
Loved it. Like I said, I love westerns, and I'm a pretty big Kevin Costner fan. I got to work with Kevin. I doubled him in Waterworld for like 6 weeks. Got to stand in for him and photo double for him, full makeup and wardrobe and everything. Did some double stunts and stuff. So Open Range is it's an interesting and well told western. Yes.
I'm curious with Water World, what was that set like? I mean, are you like in this huge tub of water surrounded, or
Well, where I worked was the City of Industry in California. They shot most of it in Hawaii, and Kevin was his stunt double was out there doing second unit. He's got a regular, some guy he went to high school with that usually does all of his doubling and stuff. So they had to bring someone, and he picked me to come in and do the stuff here. And what they had done is they had built the Exxon Valdez, and they were doing all this stuff on board the ship, and they built the big outdoor one as well. So we were out in the middle of a empty field, basically, no water. They CGI'd all the water in and stuff that I was working on.
Mm.
but they did do a lot of it in the water in Hawaii. I wasn't a part of any of that.
You didn't get to do the lovely Hawaii vacation set.
No, I came in when they got back from Hawaii. They had left some of the stunt guys out there finishing up, and I get to work. But it was still very interesting. I got to do some great stuff, and Kevin would come along and say, "Hey, boy, what do I do next?" So, yeah.
Yeah. Chris is sitting here saying, "Blue Bonnet Spearman." Laugh out loud.
What?
That must be part of. I don't know what Blue Bonnet Spearman, and maybe it's part of the Water World. I'm sorry, I don't know. I've never seen Water World.
Maybe we can get some more info. Maybe she can.
Yeah, a little bit of backstory on that when they're in Indiana. Oh, he says he likes the Deadwood series.
Deadwood's great too. Yeah, Deadwood's. I mean, I'm open to most any westerns to try. I mean, there's very few that I don't care for. Bone Tomahawk. I don't know if you've ever seen that. Didn't care for that movie. It was Kurt Russell was great, but the movie itself was kind of it was like a horror western, and I don't like mixing my genres. I like my westerns to be westerns. And,
see, I'm an old school guy. I'm a John Wayne guy.
Yeah, so, I watch a lot of old. I mean, I've been watching lately. I've been watching a lot of even Gunsmoke and Wagon Train and Wanted Dead or Alive, and some of these old shows, which are great. But movie wise, I think one of my favorites is probably Clint Eastwood's Unforgiven. I love that movie.
Yeah, it was a good one, and there's a good reason why it won the awards it did too. So I mean,
yeah.
I growing up, my mom was a huge John Wayne fan, so I got stuck watching the films, and then I mean, just after a while watching them, I just grew to love them too. And the funniest thing, at least in my opinion, some of his best work are the ones he dies in.
Well, but which ones did he only died in 2 movies?
He died in Sands of Iwo Jima, which is it was a nominated one.
Okay.
The Cowboys, he died in that one.
The Cowboys, right? And
the Shooters, he died in it.
Those are the only 2 I thought he died in. Was the Shooters?
The Fighting Seabees, I think he died in that one.
Yeah.
So I mean, just a lot of his good work.
John Wayne was a movie star. He wasn't more so than an actor, which is great. I mean, but he was what he was, and he was fun to watch, and he was bigger than life, and that's why we loved watching him. I think a lot of your big actors, you got actors and you got movie stars. There's some that do both, but a lot of them are one or the other. And I mean, a lot of movie stars aren't the most gifted actors. They're a personality that you love to watch, and if that makes sense. You get them out of their element sometimes, and they're not, even Kevin Costner, as good as he is, you take him out of his element, and Robin Hood, he just wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good film. I mean, from what I remember, it came out when I was a kid, and
watch it again, you might change your mind.
yeah. I mean, it probably. He said that the boss man on the open range was Blue Bonnet Spearman, Costner's boss man.
Oh, okay, yeah. Was that who what was the actor?
That wasn't Martin Sheen, was it?
No. He's in everything. Godfather, the lawyer from Godfather.
Robert De Niro.
Not I can't remember someone. Great act. Now Robert Duvall.
Robert something. Yep.
Robert Duvall. Duvall, great actor. Yes. Yeah. But that was a fun movie. Actually, lately, a lot of the newer westerns aren't great, but I did see one with Ethan Hawke. I can't remember the name of it. I like Ethan Hawke, and he should be doing more of them. He's good.
Yeah.
What does that say? Oh, I just missed one.
Yeah. No, Fat Boys Eric says only 2 this weekend. Asking how many fish I got. I got skunked out this weekend. Yeah, did a live fishing tournament series and got skunked this week.
Oh.
Yeah, me and my friend are doing live tournament throughout the this season, and we're fishing against other people throughout the world. So most of them are here in the United States, like fishing the James River, Mississippi's, the Potomac, and right now we're sitting ninth. So that's not too bad out of probably 30 plus some people. So
yeah.
But yes, that's so. When it came to the one of the films we'll show here, one of the newer ones, Outrage, because you got to work with a lot of different casting people in there. One that you hooked me up with just because I like the genre was Chaz Taylor, a wrestler. You know, since I like wrestling.
Yep. Yep.
So when it comes to like getting, do you look for these parts and go out and like sell yourself, or these people come to you? Do they contact your agent? Look, how do you find these parts?
It depends. A lot of it. I mean, I do have, of course, most of the Hollywood stuff, the bigger stuff comes through an agent. All the TV shows that goes through casting and through my agent. But some of the independent films that I've been doing in recent years have come to me, which is nice. I did Showdown on the Brazos, and we shot that in Texas and kind of San Antonio area. And while I was shooting that, the writer-director from Outrage stopped by the set to meet me and offered me the role in Outrage. And somebody was editing Outrage in Texas, and another young fellow had seen that and offered me a role. And well, he reached out to me for a role in one of my most recent movies, which is called The Hard Good Night, where it's kind of I play a ex-Hollywood stuntman who had some problems and left Hollywood and went back to his small town in Texas and owns a movie theater, and all he does is run old time movies, and it's going under, and he has to find a way to save it. He ends up pulling off a heist that goes bad. So it's a fun little modern neo-noir Western thing, which is a fun little movie that hasn't been released yet as well. But that's one of my favorite roles that I've played in a long time. So,
okay. Well, while we're thinking about it, we talked about Outrage. Let's see if I can sit here and pull this up. We'll show a clip from Outrage. So let's take a look at this.
Trust us. We're going to find your daughter.
When? Once she's dead? You gonna find her body in the swamp or buried out in the woods somewhere? Huh? All mangled and raped and beaten? No. You go fuck yourself. I'll take care of this on my own.
If you ever come back to my office out of your mind and yelling at me, I'm going to arrest you.
I'm gonna find my daughter. And I'm gonna find the motherfuckers who took her. And I'm gonna chop their heads off. And I'm gonna bring them back here. And I'm gonna put it on your fucking desk. And if anybody stands in my way, I'm gonna do the same goddamn thing to them. I don't give a fuck who you are.
That is awesome.
that was the local sheriff.
Now, what's even funnier is the fact that he said that he's going to arrest you for speaking your mind, which is part of the First Amendment. So, yeah, that tells me he doesn't know the law. Gotta love it. I mean, to play parts like that are like energized and full of emotion and everything. Do you have to really psych yourself out to play like certain scenes like that, or is it just kind of natural? Or
I wish I could tell you yes, but I'm laughing and shooting the breeze 1 minute, and once they say action, I jump into whatever it is I'm supposed to be doing. I don't have any method. I just do it. There's no, whether it be yelling and screaming or crying or whatever. I just have fun with it. And I just do it. But it does help to, when you're with an act. I don't know if you saw it. What's that? What do we got here?
it says, of all the projects you've been a part of, which one are you the most proud of?
I think that would have to be Criminal Minds. And in Criminal Minds, I play a grieving husband. My wife has been murdered, and I'm in the office talking about it. And that's what I was just getting at. That I had to, a very emotional scene. And just to tell you how making TV shows and films work, I was with Aisha Tyler across, she was interviewing me in that scene. And of course, they shot her stuff first. and the tears were running, and I was just nailing it. And she's like, Jeff, you're giving it, this is great. And she was crying opposite me, as we were shooting the scene. They turned it around on me, and I was all dried up. So I had to really work to get myself into the emotional state that I had to be in. But I think it looks good, and I'm proud of it. It's one of the better performances I've done as an actor. I actually got a chance to actually do more than, a lot of TV stuff you do, you're basically, the stars there and you don't want to outshine them. You can't, your job is to support them. But that one I got to actually, I thought I did a good job, and I enjoyed what I was doing. And when I watch it, I emote with it, I feel it. So that's.
But they don't have working tiered tiers where you can just squirt them in there. And
yeah, no, you gotta find your emotions, and that's something you learn to do.
That's too cool. Well, since we were talking about what was it, Long Day, the other film that you were talking about with the
Hard Good.
What is
the Hard Good Night?
Hard Good Night. There you go. You have that clip here, so let's see what happens with this.
Oh yeah, it's another tough guy.
Go ahead, you son of a bitch. Pull the trigger. Come on. Do it. Now from here on, shit can the old man jive. Got it? Yeah.
Nice. Now I've got to ask, what era is this supposed to be taken into? Because I noticed he had the Nazi emblem on his banner. Is it set in World War II era, or is it?
No, it's a modern day neo-Nazi group that offers me a chance to make some money to save my theater, and I despise them, but I need the money, so I decided to pull off this heist with them, and things go awry, but yeah.
Now, do you have any idea when these are? Do they even contact you when these films are getting released, or you find out when everybody else does?
If they finally get it together. The problem with independent filmmaking is finding the right market, getting it distributed. So I don't know. I talked to the director of, actually he's working on some other projects. He contacts me every now and then to do a little something in projects that he's trying to get off the ground. But I don't know what's going. He was going to do some festivals, but I don't think he's had that at any festivals yet, which is a bummer, because it's
yeah, because I think that one Western I think it must have been at a festival, because I've seen it had like won a bunch of awards, I think, or something.
The show's been at, they've done as before it was shot, it was as a script, it was at the festival, and the posters were in the festival. That was actually Cowpoke International, and what's the other one? There's another. It's all for Westerns. It's been in a couple festivals, and the director he's done well with it. I don't know exactly, but has won a lot of awards, and it's But as far as when it's going to be released, it'll probably be direct to video, both of them. Now that we have all these streaming options, Tubi, Pluto, or someplace like that, which is it's not bad. At least it gets out there and gets seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, as an awards go, if I remember correctly, you got like outstanding supporting actor for the Outrage film. Is that correct? I seen you had some kind of a picture.
Yeah, he entered it in a couple of festivals, and I got nominated in one of them, and actually won it in another one. Yeah.
Was it the sporting, or was it a lead, or which genre did it get into?
I think I'm trying to think. I think the supporting role. Because it was kind of a lead supporting. It was a pretty good sized role, but I believe I got best supporting actor in Mojo International Film Awards, and I got nominated for best lead actor in. I can't even remember what the name, but another. It was international. It was overseas somewhere. So, yeah.
Now I gotta ask, since I watching your stuff that you've done on Facebook before, you created a whole bunch of genre of characters. I can't even remember all of them. I remember Sergey was a very popular one, which
Sergey was a good character. I like Sergey. He's very sexy, but he's not very nice. So see, yeah, Sergey was one of my favorites. Yes.
now I do have to ask. So when you come up with your voices, have you ever thought of like jumping into the roles of like the voice acting community? Because I mean, it's a different genre that you've never been into, as far as I know. And you got the voice talent to be able to pull some different kind of characters off. Is that something you've ever tried to get into or thought about?
I've got friends that are in that. It's a tough world to break into. I mean, and most of the newer people are either they're just voice actors or they're name actors that people bring in and add them to a project. It's I think voice acting is probably tougher to get into than acting. I don't know why, but it's just a tight knit community. Maybe because people can go from show to show to show. You don't see their face, so they can just do a different voice. But yeah, it's a real tight knit community. I've tried a little bit. One of my friends, she's a big voice actor. I did a little. She's got a little animated short coming out that I just did a little piece for her. I play like an announcer. I don't know if you remember the old ABC after school specials, but there's a little.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I do the the announcer guy from like the ABC after school special for her, just a little quick thing. But yeah, no, I love playing with voices. I'm hoping that I can bring some of them to life as in I mean like Outrage, there's a southern accent there. I mean, I'm from Maine. My accent is is very New England, if but I can I pull off the southern and I can do a little bit of an Irish, and I do the Middle Eastern or whatever you want to call it with Sergey, Russian. I just I don't plan them. I used to be driving in LA. I would just pull over in my car and something would pop into my head and I'd stop and record it.
That's just amazing. Well, since I'm thinking about that, let's see if I can share this because we're going to do. We'll have some fun here. Now, if it'll play.
What in hell was that? You have rebels trying to destroy your country. You want to give them olive branch to welcome them back with open arms like nothing happened? Seriously? Are you fucking stupid? Huh? Don't give me that political bullshit, Donnie. These rebel leaders, politicians, military, and so on, they must be terminated when time comes. No exceptions. You want to know about airstrike we conduct on Philadelphia? Ask him. He orders strike, not me. I am not military leader. That is why you have the power of the delegation and support of your subordinates with their decision making. Please explain right to Mr. Donnie President.
That is
that
was what
a scene from your book.
Yeah, that was some dialogue from the book. Now, since we usually try to do something special here, we'll try to do a giveaway here. And let's see if I could put it up here to the stage here. And we will start collecting for the book. So if anybody would be interested. Oh, what? Wait a minute. Why did that come back up here?
I'm getting a power bump here. Wow.
All right. Well, stop sharing that. All right. Now, let's see. Share screen. Where did it go? Giveaway. There we go. Share for the giveaway here. We'll see if anybody would be interested in just type in there. For the book, get a copy of my book.
Cool.
since hey, you kind of helped out with a portion of that, hey, we'll put that in there. So just put.
It's funny. When I was watching them, like I was trying to think, what is that from? How did he get one of my auditions? Then I realized what it was.
Now, I'm just curious. It doesn't matter if you have it or haven't, but did you ever read it?
I read most back when that was a couple years ago, but yeah, I read part of it. I'm not a big reader, and this is awful to say as an educated man, but I don't read. I'm good for magazine articles and 120-page scripts. And
Yeah.
my buddy Dirk, he writes those thick.
Oh yeah.
I get through 3 or 4 pages and I don't know.
I'd probably fall asleep.
I'm just not. Yeah, it's just I don't. Which is funny. My wife is a big reader, and my dad is a big reader. I'm sorry about the light. We had a power bump here. My power went out, so.
Oh really?
I don't have much light left on me here.
Well, I say the hurricane was like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I don't know what we just had a big thunder shower, but that's over. It's clear as can be. I can see outside right now, but
wow,
my lights flickered and then they went out. I'll go in the house after we're done and figure out what's going on. But
that's crazy. It's always something with me, it's either I usually call somebody some kind of havoc or sometime or another. So
well, at least the iPhone, which I'm using for the camera, actually is picking me up in the dark. So
yeah, it looks pretty good. So since you're out on Maine, I've got to ask this since I'm into hunting and fishing. Your Portland, where you were raised, is pretty close to the coast. Did you do a lot of fishing back then?
I grew up actually not much in the ocean. I did go mackerel fishing once in a while out in the ocean. I don't know if you've ever done mackerel fishing, but that's fun. You have like 6 hooks on one line, and you go through a school of mackerel, and it's you catch 4, 5, 6 at once. It's pretty neat. Did a little striper fishing, but mostly I'm right near. I grew up in Buxton, there's Buxton, Standish. I don't know if you're familiar with Sebago Lake, which is the second largest lake in Maine. My dad and my stepdad, so both had boats that we used to go out and catch some nice freshwater salmon and lake trout, some togue, and I went when I was a kid, April 1st. I believe it was first day of fishing season, whatever it was back then. We would get on our bikes, skip school, and go to the brooks and do some brook fishing. So yeah, I've done
the guy there.
Yeah, I've done a little fishing.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
nothing wrong with skipping school to.
What's that?
It was the hunting over here is so bad that sometimes the schools even close for for deer gun week because
oh wow, yeah,
all the kids just take off anyway.
Right. No, I grew up hunting too, but I would eat the fish, but I don't eat venison at all. So I never really cared about hunting. I did it because that's what everyone did. But that got old quick. I just, when I got in my late teens, I realized that I didn't want to go tromp in the woods to kill something that I'd rather pat than kill,
Yeah. Well, and it's so fun nowadays when it comes to me and the filming. I enjoy sitting there especially if I'm not going to like take a shot at it. I'll just sit there and film it because it's just.
Yeah, I'm in Standish, Maine now, which is a little town about 20 minutes from Portland, out in the country, and I've got 100 acres. So I've got deer and fox and coyotes and turkeys and you name it, going through porcupines and. Yeah, we see a lot of wildlife here.
And just a reminder, if anybody's interested in asking Jeff any questions, put it in the comments here because I'm sure he'll be more than happy to answer any questions anybody's got about his career, about acting in general, anything like that. So don't hesitate to ask him any questions. And also don't forget about putting book in the subscription in case you wanted a copy of my book, since we just went over that as well.
Get a copy of Dan's book. Did you get the second one done?
No, I never did. I was working so much, it was hard to try to sit down and get any pages done.
Right.
I was fortunate enough to get the that other one. I don't. Well, since you don't read, but
yeah,
I had the second one that I did about the 8-year-old boy that went to go live with his uncle, like a middle grade kind of book. And you know what? For whatever reason, every time I write one of these, I'm thinking, oh, you know who would be great for this part? Yes.
Now that one sounds more like something that would be interesting to read.
Yeah. Well, the synopsis basically is a 8-year-old boy who grew up in New York City.
Yep.
Ends up being forced to live with an uncle he never even knew existed, and so he's got to try to learn, about how he never knew he had this uncle, and
Yep.
then of course he's going to school, making new, trying to make new friends and everything like that. And he finds out that not everybody likes a new kid in town.
Right.
So no, he's got to go through hardship of going through school, and he's trying to learn, living with his uncle who happens to live on a farm.
Yep.
So going from a city boy to a country life, totally different.
Yep.
So I mean, he's thrown into a mixer. So
Cool.
it's pretty fun. I thought you'd be great for the uncle myself.
Oh yeah, sounds like it. That's perfect. I actually live on a farm, so that's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, and I did for most of my life with my parents. They have a cattle farms, and when I was growing up, it was a hog farm. So
right. My grandparents had a dairy farm, so I grew up working on the farm. But now I have a non-working farm right now. It's an old farm, 1800s farm, but it used to have oxen and such back in the day. But I don't have any animals at the moment, only because they tie you down, and I right now my kids are not close by, so we need to be able to travel from time to time, and to get someone to come in and feed the animals and take care of things, it's tough.
Yeah, I know that was just like dogs and cats. It's crazy if you have
I don't need a dog right now for that reason. Yeah.
Having my dad has been he's had like either hundreds of hogs or 80 head of cattle, and he's never had a vacation since I've been alive. So
it's a full-time job. Yeah.
No questions either. Oh my goodness, it's just driving me nuts.
No questions, no comments.
Yeah, nothing seriously, nothing recently. So did you have anything coming up in the works that you're getting ready to work on that you can even talk about? Because I know it's an iffy thing talking about some stuff. Sometimes.
No, I don't. Nothing in the works right now. I mean, auditioning a lot, putting it out there. I did another movie last year that hasn't come out yet called Canoe Dig It, a comedy about freestyle canoeing. I don't know if you ever heard of such thing, but it's actually a real thing, and it's almost like kind of like I don't know even what to describe it, like ice dancing or something. It's dancing in a canoe. They just kind of go around and they lean it over and way up high, out of the water.
And they're standing in it.
What's that?
They're standing in the canoe and doing this?
No, they're on their knees. But they lean it right up so that it's touching the water, and they spin it around and back and forth, and it's going to music. Anyway, this young actor who is the writer, director, actor, Samuel Dunning, someone sent him a clip of this on YouTube or something, and he got such a kick out of it that he wrote a movie, and it's basically it's like a mockumentary about all these freestyle canoers meeting for this big competition. And it's actually, I mean, again, I haven't seen any of it yet. They did do a premiere in New York, because he lives down in New York City now. But he's from Maine originally, but he shot it up here on a little local lake. And it's basically the cameras in your, it's what was that? Best in Show. It's kind of along the lines of Best in Show. I don't know if you ever saw that. Which is every character in it. It's like they're really the real person.
Yeah.
It should be pretty funny. I play a guy who's retired and works at a sporting goods store so that I can get good deals on my canoeing stuff. And I've watched this competition for years, and I make my first time competing, and my buddy who's alongside with me, everyone thinks that we're a gay couple. When we're oblivious to it. We don't even see it. We don't realize that, so it's a pretty funny premise, and we just play dumb through the whole thing. But yeah,
There's some innuendo out there, and it goes right over your head. I take it.
Yeah, right. Everyone else is looking at us like, and stuff they're saying to us. Even that we end up getting a room, and they're supposed to be separate rooms, and they end up putting us in the same room, and just these little, there's all these little innuendos, and it goes right over our head, and we're just oblivious to the fact, so it's pretty funny.
That'd be something I have to look out for, definitely.
Yeah, that one, I mean, and I will, once these things come out, I mean, if anyone wants, I'm on Facebook. I don't do much with it, but I do put my acting stuff out there, and I might even post something on Instagram from time to time. Mostly just my acting stuff. I don't do much of the other.
So I was supposed to have a banner that was supposed to go out there that had everything on there, but for whatever reason.
It's JF.
Oh, well, look at it. There it goes now. I guess I had to hit the show button. My goodness gracious. See, when something you don't use all the time, there is Jeff information on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and the IMDb.
It's pretty simple. It's JF Davis everywhere, right? JF Davis actor. So
now,
it's pretty.
If you don't mind me asking,
sure.
I know at one point it was just Jeff spelled out, then I went to JF. Is that because there's a bunch of other people with Jeff to show that
well, actually, it's
different, or
supposed to be JF said anytime I'm acting, but a lot of the producers and stuff, they end up putting it in the credits as Jeff. When I first moved to LA and joined SAG, Screen Actors Guild, there was another Jeff Davis. There was so then I had to come up with something. So when I joined the union, I joined it as JF Davis. And I think the way I came up with it, I don't know if you ever remember an actor by the name of Jim J. Bullock. He's still out there, but he was a comedic actor, and he spelled his name JMJ Bullock, Jim J. So when I was trying to figure out what I was going to go by, I just said, how about we just cut out all, I'm going to be Jeff. That way I can still say Jeff, but I'm just going to spell it JF. And that's how I came up with it. And people do ask the question a lot, what's the, on auditions, even when I was in LA, you go into a room full of, you got the producers and the directors and everyone for a callback for a TV show. And the first thing they'll say is, what's the JF? Just out of curiosity, just like you did. Yeah. So,
I'm just curious then, if somebody accidentally puts it out there as Jeff.
Yeah.
Does it screw with anything with the union because it's not JF?
No. No. I mean, if it's a union, whoa, what happened there? Well.
Okay. Yeah, that's different. I didn't touch anything.
I didn't either. Huh. I don't know what happened. It just flipped.
Wow. Okay.
If I turn my camera over and back again. But anyway.
There you go. Oh, you're having power glitches and phone glitches, and
we still got no power here. Whoops. But what was I saying now? I forgot.
If it caused you problems with the union, if they didn't
spell no. I mean, if I'm doing a feature film or a TV series, it's going to be listed because we have to do a SAG contract. The credit will be properly done. But sometimes when it goes on to IMDb, it jumps to Jeff Davis. If I do an independent film that's not union, it'll sometimes get listed as Jeff Davis. But yeah, it should always be JF Davis.
So,
but I mean, if you go out there looking for me and you look Jeff Davis, the problem is there's Jeff B. Davis, who's a comedic actor. There's a Jeff Davis who actually is the creator of Criminal Minds. So there's other Jeff Davises out there, which gets mixed up sometimes. They'll have my stuff with someone else's picture or vice versa.
Yeah, I guess that's the problem with having such a common name. There's like with me, there's a lot of Longs out there, so it's. You just got to look for the bald-headed one that's goofy. But
I go down south, and they've named schools after me and roads and everything.
Yeah, you were once president.
Yeah, it's good. It works.
Now you want to hear a funny story about my family? That's I usually tell everybody because if they don't know me, but of course, name is Dan Long. Now. Do you have before my mother got married? Do you have any idea in the world what my mom's maiden name was?
What's her first name?
Terry.
No, I thought maybe it was Springs.
No, her maiden name was Terry Short.
Short. Okay. Did she give you the middle name of? Is your name Dan Short Long?
No. I'm actually named right after my dad, Dan Ray Long. But you got so my mom went from a short to a long, so she grew a little.
She grew a
And
little.
and then what you get between a short and a long is medium.
There you
So
go.
I got nicknamed that for quite a while. So
That's good. Yeah.
well, I really appreciate you stopping over here with me tonight and
I'm
doing
glad.
this little.
glad yeah.
Hopefully, have fun with this.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I'm glad you reached out, and I'm glad you're doing so well with your fishing and your hunting and your
Yeah,
video.
it's been fun. I
Yeah.
love I don't know what it is. I love the whole creation thing, the editing and the producing, the shooting. I mean, it's not Hollywood,
Right.
but I mean, it
But
almost makes you feel like it a little bit.
yeah.
I mean, and if you ever and back in town and doing another shoot, and you need some help, look me up because hey, I had fun with that. That's
Good.
definitely fun.
Yeah. I'm
And
glad you get to come play with us. It was fun.
yeah, too bad you weren't here though. That was the only thing that was a downside. I was looking forward to meeting and shooting the breeze with you.
I
again.
think you worked it before I came to town, right?
Yeah, you were like coming in the next weekend or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, I was there. I think I was there for 7 or 8 days, something like that. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Well,
nice.
of course, that was like right in the COVID era or the past it or just after it. And
After, yeah.
it's really messed that shooting of the movie up quite a bit, if I remember correctly. 'Cause
Well,
you guys,
actually, we ended up a lot because that's how we ended up. I was going to shoot it in LA originally, and then when COVID came along, so we shot that in 22. About this time in 2022. So COVID was kind of past, but it still threw a wrench into everything. And I had, like I said, it had been years in the making, and I was really trying to get it going. And finally, I just said, "Look, can you guys make it happen there? Let's just do it." And so we did it. Yeah.
yeah. Did you happen to see? Because I don't think you had any of the scenes in the school building. Did you actually get to see it at all? That's
Oh yeah. I went and hung out over there and watched them shoot. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
yeah. Man, that was eerie though.
Yeah.
Did you have any encounters while you were over there? The staff were talking about them like crazy, but I
Yeah,
never noticed anything when I was there.
I never had an encounter. You always hear places and stuff, but no, I've never had an encounter in any of my experiences in haunted buildings. I think you have to be a believer.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm a little bit, I use my brain a little bit, so I'm like skeptic a little, but I believe that there's some things that you can't explain.
Right.
I'll give it that much. So, I mean, I keep an open mind.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
and since would you even want a copy of the new one if you haven't had a copy? I can send you one.
Oh, yeah, that sounds, yeah. Love to read. And I will read it. I promise you, I'll read it. And
No worries. Yeah,
Yeah.
if anything, just remind me in a message where to send it to, and I'll get
yeah,
it to you.
cool. Yeah, no, it'd be great. I would love to. And I'm
Yeah,
actually,
it's a little bit thinner than the other ones. So
that's
you
perfect.
might-
No, I'm trying to come up with an idea for a short film that I can do here. Something like that, just a couple characters. So that when you said that, about the uncle, the kid going to live with his uncle, yeah, it's something along those lines. I've got to come up with an idea for like a 10-minute film that I can shoot and get out there.
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, maybe get it nominated for an Oscar. That'd be cool, huh?
Yeah.
And
Hey, I'll be clapping for you when you go up on that stage.
no, they do, because they do. You can, if you get in the right festivals, you can get in contention. I had a friend of mine. She did a film a couple years ago that was it was nominated, and it was in the running for an Oscar, which was a really cool experience for them.
Yeah, I mean, if you could give me like an invite to the Oscars too,
Yeah.
that'd be good. I'll be up there really cheering for you. Then I'll bring cowbells and everything.
Perfect. Yeah. Yeah.
I really do appreciate you stopping in here and chatting with me. I know you're probably busy and everything like that, and plus now you got the power out to deal
Yeah.
with.
I
So
just had my phone. I just got a thing from the power company saying that they're working on it. So, so
well,
I
at
gotta
least the phone's still working.
I got to go figure out what's going on.
Okay. Well, I will let you get to that, and I all the thanks in the world for stopping by. I mean,
It was,
as
it was my
you
pleasure.
know, guys got fishing guys all the time. I was like, you know what? I'm going to try something different. How many guys have a movie actor talking with them? So,
There you
I
go. It's
was,
perfect. Perfect. Dan,
but
you take care. Thank you for having me, and we'll do it again sometime.
oh, definitely. If there's anything you need, shoot me a line.
Okay, appreciate it. Take care.
Okay. Yeah. Take care. Thanks, guys. See you guys next time.